Hmm. Why are men dominant and women are submissive? Even the people behind me are wondering why. They're just thinking about it, wondering, Well, it's actually quite a very simple answer. You don't have to think about it too long. You really don't. Generally speaking, I'm using the word generally because it's not going to apply to everyone, but generally speaking, men are more dominant and women are submissive because that's how they are. Plain and simple. Very, very easy. Very, very easy answer, right? It's biology, essentially. It's basically what makes men and women different. And of course, I use the word generally because this does not apply to every single person. Most of the time, this is how society is. This is how people are. This is how men are. This is how females are. And that's just how things are with the different genders, the different sexes. Now, the thing is, if we start to drill down a little bit more specifically here and we start to really understand some of these things, it starts to, there's some differences within males being dominant and females being submissive. And that is that, let's look at society. And it all depends on the type of society that you live in, the type of culture that you grew up in, the type of religious environment that you grew up in as well. Because there's different cultures, religions that all determine various things. So, if a man is not manly and a woman is not feminine, by society's standards, that can be considered wrong, depending on where it is that you live, obviously. Of course, certain cultures and certain places that may be more accepting of differences between men and women, and perhaps some ways that men can be more submissive or women can be more dominant in certain circumstances. But for the most part, men are the ones that are more dominant. They are the ones who tend to be the ones in charge and the leaders. And the women are the ones who are more so the followers of the man, essentially. Because the thing is, that's biology. That is how us human beings are. But when we think about that, when we think about the role that plays, well, if we really think about it, it's often because men are the more dominant ones because they are there to protect. They protect the women, while the women are much more nurturing. They are the ones that may take and raise the kids, while the man is out who's much tougher to provide for the woman and the child. Just to put it very simplistically. That tends to be how it is, and that's hardwired into us as human beings. So as a man, society may say that you are expected to be that way when you may not be that way. And women tend to be a certain way, but if you're not that way, society says, well, maybe there's something wrong with you. Because the truth is, yes, it is certainly very possible that a man can be submissive. They can be the one who are more in a female role, so to speak. And then women can be the more dominant one. They can be the one that is in charge. But you're not going to find that as often as the other way around. But that's not to say that it's not impossible, because it is certainly very, very possible. And if you feel as though that is how you are, if you are a man who is more submissive, then you should be able to be yourself. You should be able to not feel ashamed of who you are and just be able to express yourself in a healthy manner. Likewise, if you're a woman who likes to take charge and likes to, be at the top of things and perhaps be very, very competitive and, want to take charge in a whole bunch of certain circumstances and situations, then you should be happy with that, and you shouldn't be looking at your peers and what society says is expected of you as a woman. But we have to really look at what complications and what issues can occur if this dynamic is a little bit different. So, in a standard type of relationship where the man is more dominant, the female is more submissive, there can be a lot of compatibility there because one person takes care of these specific roles while the other takes care of these roles. So it's a good balance there. But what if the woman is a submissive woman, but she has a boyfriend or a husband that is a more submissive man? Well, that's actually quite a big problem there because she wants a man who is more masculine and dominant and not submissive like her, but the person that she's with is submissive. And he's not able to provide for her the things that she wants out of a fulfilling relationship with a man who's much more dominant than her. So that can cause conflict. That can cause issues in relationships. Or the other way around. A woman who is very, very dominant, who has a boyfriend or a husband who is also dominant. And they're always competing to out-dominate one another, but the woman ends up always winning because she is asserting her, not masculinity, her womanness, her femininity, in order to dominate the male. And that can be very, very hard for the male because he wants to be the leader. He wants to be the one on top, and he's not able to be, so he feels as though his masculinity is being questioned, and he feels bad as a result. So those are just some of the issues that can occur in relationships if this dynamic is a little bit different. Of course, if you have a dynamic that is a submissive man and a dominant woman, that could certainly work out under certain circumstances, if that's how it truly is, and the woman is the one who likes to take charge and doesn't want to be the submissive one, sure. And then the man is perfectly happy with, his partner basically controlling things or being on top of things as opposed to him taking charge. But I would say those certain circumstances, I wouldn't say that they are common by any means. I think that they do happen, but they don't happen as much as a traditional relationship would be, where there is a more masculine and dominant male, and then a more feminine and submissive female. That tends to be how it is for the most part, but I am really curious about what your thoughts are on this. If you have different thoughts about this, if you have things that I have not mentioned that you would like to share, or your own experience as well, please feel free to do that. I would like to hear from you regarding this topic because it is something that's very interesting. So let me know what your thoughts are. You all take care, have a great one, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.